Park Live, Mobridge seems to be getting better with age. The 8-year-old shows he hasn't slowed down at all in his 2018 debut. Try and follow it up against some familiar foes. Change of venue was dominant in his debut. Then came a little reality check in his first against winners. Well, that education helped put him over the top in today's 7th. And Silver Shaker has already proven at the 1.25 mile distance. She looks for a second career win and her second start back of the year for outstanding trainer, Shad Brown. That and a lot more coming up on this Thursday edition of Belmont Park Live. It's presented by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. We got beautiful weather on this Thursday afternoon, and you're joining us on MSG Plus just in time for the start of this late Big Four sequence. Approaching the 11-minute mark to post, and good to be with you. Thanks for stopping in on the show. Greg Wolf alongside Gabby Gaudet. We are back this afternoon. We'll get to Maggie Wolfendale in just a little bit. That 8th race today, that's our feature. Very intriguing race that we have coming up. We'll see that Shad Brown runner, Silver Shaker, in there. But on the outside, EMMY Performance turned a lot of heads with her performance last time out for Brian Lynch.
For sure. And EMMY Performance, I would say, is the up-and-comer. She's the one that we don't know what she's capable of. And last time out, she was incredibly impressive and professional in her maiden victory. Now, this was at a mile. She got a good setup, a good pace flow in front of her in order to deliver this performance. She's stretching out to 1.25 miles today. That is probably the biggest question. But she has the pedigree to move forward. She is a half-sister to not only Oscar-nominated, but also Oscar Performance, who's racked up to be to earn $2 million in form, I should say. So she's got the pedigree to move forward, and I think she's the biggest threat to the favorite.
Yeah, he was a Belmont Derby winner from last year. Not going to get a lot of pace, though, to run at in this race. It looks like it's going to be dawdling early in that spot. Here's today's races. Race 6 kicks off that late pick 4. It's 1 mile and a 16th on the turf. New York Reds running for $25,000. And Mobridge, the old 8-year-old. I love this horse. Trying to go back-to-back for Belmont. The 7th race. That one on the main track, 50,000 starter allowance. Appears to be wide open. That 8th race over the inner turf at 1.25 miles we just talked about will close things out. Maiden 40 group at 7 furlongs on the turf. Weather and track conditions brought to you by Piranha Fly Spray, the preferred fly spray of Belmont Park. Piranha on. Pests gone. Gonna get to our post parade in a moment. Right now, we're gonna check in with Maggie Wolfendale Paddock Report. It is brought to you by Hillandale Farm, now standing Curlin for $150,000. Hi, Maggie.
Hey, Greg and Gabby, as we just got the riders up call here in the paddock, we'll check in with the 1A. That is Hidden Vow for Jason Service, and we will see this guy coming off second off the bench here in this race. And I must say that relative to his last start, he's so much more relaxed. This is a horse who has in the past had that propensity to get very keyed up, very nervous, and he's just so much more calm. He was accompanied by the pony while getting the tack on, and I just think that's a good sign for him. When he's been like this is usually when he puts forth his better effort, as last time he was bet well into the face of Mobridge and just could not deliver quite as well as the old 8-year-old. Moving on to one that will break from the inside. That's number 3, With Exultation for Linda Rice. Now he is third off of that layoff, and going back to when I had seen him back at Aqueduct in April, he just did not look the same. He just seemed as though he wasn't as strong across his top line. He didn't look as fit, but now third off the bench, I'm seeing the old With Exultation. He's in a spot 2 in this claiming 25 for these New York Reds that he can capitalize on at a distance he can be successful at as well. Next, we'll check in with one that I think was a very shrewd claim by Pat Reynolds and Mr. Amendola, who have been teaming up to do good work. They picked up Set Me Up for $14,000. He's much more of a turf horse, and this is a niche spot for this guy who hasn't had many opportunities to run against New York Reds in his life, and he looks great here. He's also taking blinkers off, and he is a little bit more settled here in the paddock, so I don't think he's going to be rushed off his feet and gunned to the lead, at least like he was last time. So I think they're going to take that kind of sit off the pace approach. At least that's the vibe I'm getting here in the paddock. Greg.
Maggie, thank you. Want to remind everyone watching today, you could play along as well and make the show even more exciting. $200 new member sign-up bonus going on now. Use the promo code LIVE. Go to NYRABets.com to get signed up, started, and join in the fun. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime at NYRABets.com. All right. pick 4 pool. 143,000 plus in there already. What are you going to do here?
Well, Greg, today is really, really all about strategy. So I'm having some coverage in the first leg of the sequence with the 1A, 3, 4, 5, dwindling it down in races 7 and 8, which is the 4, 5, 3, 10 respectively. And then I want coverage in that last race. We do have a heavy favorite in the last race, but he's coming in off of, I believe, a 14-month layoff. I don't trust him. I want coverage. All
right, let's get to our post-parade. And here is the remaining half of the entry. This is Hidden Vow for Red Hot trainer Jason Service.
And he's coming in off of a 3rd place finish last time out against Mobridge. We'll see if he can turn the tables today.
Yeah, top 3 finishers of that race all coming back here in this spot. Here's With Exultation, Linda Rice, Jose Ortiz.
It appears that he's lost a little bit of a step so far in his 2 races this year, but he is dropping in class.
And here's the crafty veteran, 6 for 14 on this turf course at Belmont. Mobridge for Belmont Junior Alvarado aboard.
A 7-time winner, earner of over $280,000. He is consistent as the day is long.
The pace of the race. The 5 here, Peculiar Sensation, Jose Lezcano, Gregory DePrima.
He is the pace of the race, and I hope they do get that aggressive with him to maintain the lead, but he's going to need to be in a position to win at the top of the stretch.
Vincento, he ran 2nd behind Mobridge last time out for trainer Rudy Rodriguez.
Not a bad performance, but he is looking for that elusive turf victory, 0 for 5.
Sneaky horse here. Set Me Up. Blinkers coming off. Has shown speed in the past as well. It's Patrick Reynolds off the claim with Mike Leslie.
And the blinkers do come off, so maybe sitting a stalking trip behind the speed today.
And Manifest Destiny, long shot here on the outside for Jimmy Ryerson, 4-year-old son of City Zip.
He looks like he could be the speed of the speed, too. We just don't know how long that speed is going to last for.
That's your group. 150,000 plus already in the pick 4 pool, and still plenty of time to get down. You can also play along today with the races we're showing you on Belmont Park Live with the Belmont Showdown online contest. You don't risk any of your own money. Put in selections. Go to belmontshowdown.com or naira.com/showdown. And you're playing for real points in your account. So good luck to everyone. Get involved. Great way to play the races. As we get a look here at the 8-year-old Mobridge, his comeback race, first start of the year back on June 14th. He beat Vincento. He beat Hidden Vow in that race. That was his 6th win on this Belmont turf.
He is very admirable, Greg. He's a constant money getter. He is an 8-year-old that just consistently shows up each and every time. And I actually thought that this was an impressive performance because he did have to make an early move as the pace was kind of falling apart in front of him. And he made that sustained run down the stretch. A lot of the times we don't see horses be successful. Usually they get caught at the stretch, but this was good for him.
Yeah, we actually picked this up, a little late. If we come back a little further, it was a really impressive move. He started to really move early, Junior Alvarado there, and then just kept on motoring away from the rest of that group. The question, I guess, he's 8 years old now. That was one of the best races he has ever run in his career. Can he bounce off that effort, or can he still move forward at 8 years old?
I think that because they're keeping him at the same level and because it is 2nd race off of the layoff, and generally speaking, Belmont has good numbers with horses making their 2nd race off of a layoff on the turf. I don't think he's going to regress from that whatsoever, and I think he meets a lot of the same contenders that he did last time. So onwards and upwards for this horse, I think.
Well, this horse right here, With Exultation, ended last year on a strong note with back-to-back wins, trying to get back into the winner's circle in the 3rd race back as an 8-year-old as well. With more on this horse, let's go to Maggie Wolfendale.
That's what I do for a living.
Here with owner Steve Sigler of Winning Move Stable. Sorry, I just asked you a question and they threw it to me. We'll talk about With Exultation, your horse here first, Steve. 3rd off the layoff, back into the condition where he won his last 2.
Right. I think he's coming up to the race really good. He's trained well. Probably needed the 2 races as an older horse. And we'll know in a couple of minutes if, in fact, I think it's the right field for him.
And with Linda Rice, all of your horses now with Linda. And you brought some promising babies that hopefully we'll see up at the spa in a week or 2 from now.
When you buy 2-year-olds, you trust the person who's doing it. I have no versed eye, so I don't even go. You trust that person, and when that horse is in the ring, she calls and said, we're going for this one. And we're happy with the lineage. We're happy with horses' workouts during the trials. So we're anxiously looking forward to our first horse that will run at Saratoga. Is called First Forever, a Take Charge Indy filly. She'll probably run mid-meet.
Excellent. Well, looking forward to First Forever. And for people who don't know, what is your background? I know baseball is involved.
Right. Most people will know me as my daughter's father first, Jamie Lynn Sigler of The Sopranos. So after that, I founded the Men's Senior Baseball League in 1988, which is hardball baseball for men 30 and over. I started in Long Island with 4 teams, 60 players, and now there's over 50,000 players nationwide who play in our organization. We're celebrating our 31st year. My son works with me, so it's a passion of love and devotion, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
Well, Steve, thank you so much for joining us, and best of luck here with Exaltation. Looking forward to seeing you at Saratoga as well.
You will, and thank you, Maggie.
All right, guys.
All right, Maggie, thanks. 7-2 right now on With Exaltation as we go back to the favorite now, Mobridge, who we've said this story before on the show, but named after the town in South Dakota, small town where Belmont grew up. And this one owned by his longtime friend and owner, Lee Einseidler. And he's just been a neat horse. He keeps getting it done. And I just think at 8 years old now, coming off running the best race that he's probably raced in his career, it's just fascinating to see him get better at this stage of his career.
It is, but, you know, I actually thought that he was running good races last summer, too. If you're looking at some of his numbers, he actually ran maybe better races last summer. So I just think he's really consistent and reliable. Does he get the pace flow in front of him here today? I will say the one thing that I have liked about him in the past year, Greg, is that he's actually shown more speed than what he previously used to. I think that has made him found the winner's circle a bit more. So it's like he kind of developed tactical speed in the second half of his career, which is interesting.
And we showed you that early move, or talked about it anyway, from Mobridge last time out. It'll be interesting to see what Junior Alvarado does today as we look at Vincento, who was second to Mobridge last time out, and just the 5th turf start of his career. What do you think today, this afternoon?
I thought that he had a little bit of sneaky trouble. Maybe trouble isn't the right word, but he was herded down the lane. I thought he finished well overall. He just sometimes finds a way to not win. He's 3 for 26 on form. He's 0 for 5 on the turf. So in terms of maybe looking at that race and preferring horses out of it, I would lean on either Mobridge or even Hidden Vow.
Yeah, Hidden Vow. The 1A for Jason Service. He actually has finished ahead of Mobridge in his career, but the last 2 times they have faced, it has been Mobridge who got the better of him.
Exactly, and he is another one whose wins are very infrequent. He's 5 for 52 on form, but there's no doubt about it. The Jason Service barn has been firing on all cylinders, so maybe this horse just needed a race underneath of his belt. I mean, it was his first race since August of last year up at Saratoga, and we'll see what he does here today. I mean, he is getting a little bit long in the tooth of 9-year-old here, but you just cannot throw out a barn that's hitting at about 50% at the meet.
It's been incredible what he's done. Of course, we talked about Forense Fire, his 3-year-old who came back off the bench. And aside from Justify, the only horse to win out of the Run for the Roses. And he was ultra impressive. Looking at the Alan Jerkins Memorial next as we take a look here at Peculiar Sensation. He went gate to wire last time out. The trouble for him is you have that horse on the outside, right?
Yeah, so he's either going to be hounded by him on the outside, or maybe Jose Lezcano takes the approach of getting this horse out of the gate, maybe sitting comfortably just behind him, letting him go on his own mission, and then going from there. So I do think, though, and it's as evident from his last race, even some of his previous dirt races, Greg, this is a better horse when he can be on the lead. Does that outside runner compromise his position? Probably, but I don't see anyone else that could potentially run with him other than that horse, and you just don't know if he's going to sustain that speed.
There's the big favorite, the 8-year-old, those pink silks of LRE Racing, moving in for Hall of Fame trainer Belmont with Junior Alvarado. How soon will he move today? Had that early move back on June the 14th and then just powered away from the field. He's the horse to beat, 8-5. Looking to go back-to-back to start off his 8-year-old campaign, the 4 Mobridge. Let's send it upstairs for the start of the late pick 4. Here's the voice of horse racing's Triple Crown, Larry Colmus.
And the last one to load here will be the long shot of the race here, Manifest Destiny, coming up to the outside stall. Right now at 3-2 is Mobridge, as Manifest Destiny, with a little help from the gate crew, goes in. And they're all in line. They're off. Peculiar Sensation out of there quickly. Manifest Destiny on the outside with some early foot as well. And then it's Vincento followed by Hidden Vow. On the inside comes Mobridge and Set Me Up on the far outside. The trailer is with Exaltation as the field races on to the backstretch. Manifest Destiny on the outside. Peculiar Sensation along the rail. And right behind them is Set Me Up in third as they race up the backstretch and complete the first quarter in 24.06 seconds. Then Vincento. Mobridge is in fifth, 4.5 lengths off the lead. And now with the Exaltation is out of last, having passed Hidden Vow as they continue their run up the backstretch. It is Manifest Destiny on the outside, Peculiar Sensation down toward the inside. The two of them continue to vie for the lead. Set Me Up, Vincento, and with Exaltation lined up behind them. And then it's Mobridge who's going to be 4 deep but moving into the turn. And the trailer is Hidden Vow. 48.01 was the half. The pace has not been very fast here, and a long shot's in front. Manifest Destiny on the outside, Peculiar Sensation, Mobridge sidles up alongside of them. And now these three are right together with Vincento. Hidden Vow coming wide and saving all the ground is with Exaltation. Set Me Up is last, and they're coming to the top of the stretch. Peculiar Sensation, Manifest Destiny, Mobridge on the outside. The three of them across the track. Mobridge drifting in the center of the course, but now in front. It's Mobridge, the leader, coming into the final furlong, drifting to the far outside. Splitting horses, Vincento has moved up into second, and then comes Peculiar Sensation. It is Mobridge and Vincento. Vincento coming through on the inside to beat Mobridge on the wire. Vincento's the winner. Mobridge was second. Then a photo between Peculiar Sensation and Hidden Vow in 141 flat.
Well, Mobridge drifting late a couple of times in the stretch that may have cost him here. Vincento, Manny Franco, Rudy Rodriguez get the win.
He was in the perfect position to pick up the pieces, whereas Mobridge was, I don't know what he was doing down the stretch, whether he lost focus, I don't know what it was, but he kept on drifting out towards the center of the racetrack.
And he did this last start, too.
Well, yeah, he did, actually, now that you bring it up. So this is kind of a bad habit for him to be getting into, but Vincento, well, he picked up the pieces, and he was in the right place at the right time.
Second to Mobridge last time out, able to turn the tables today. The horses who were 1-2 back on June the 14th reversed that order today, 3-1 on the 5-year-old son of Include, and well done by Manny Franco.
We were talking about Manny Franco a little bit yesterday and how well he's been doing at this Belmont Park meet, and he just continues that momentum today. Multiple wins on yesterday's card. Good to see him back in the winner's circle today.
So Vincento, co-second choice on the board. And 3-1, able to get the job done here and turn the tables on the old veteran here. Let's take a look at the head-on and see Mobridge here and what happens to him. It was on a couple of occasions here we saw him drift out.
And the rider was going left-handed, Junior Alvarado. He kept on kind of going left-handed with him coming down the stretch. He was weaving in and out, so then he does decide to switch sticks to the right hand. Then it kind of seems like he maintains an even course. Even Vincento actually came out a little bit to him and touched him. But yeah, it's just a quirky thing that I guess Mobridge is getting into. But Vincento, like I said, was in the right place at the right time.
6-4-1A-5. Vincento with the victory. It's the 4th win in 27 career starts. His first win here in 5 tries on the Belmont turf. Manny Franco for Rudy Rodriguez and Vincent Scuderi, your winning connections. We will be back with prices and set up the 7th right after this. Stay tuned.
Eclipse champion Blaine notched over $4.3 million in earnings, including this historic victory over Zenyatta. Now he's making a name for himself as an internationally successful stallion. Recent top runners include multiple graded stakes winner Fault and French Classic winner Senga. In the ring, his yearlings have sold up to $350,000. Among the top sires of his crop by lifetime graded stakes horses, his 2018 stud fee offers outstanding value. Blaine, standing at Claiborne Farm. His record-breaking accomplishments on the racetrack paved his way here to the Stall of Legends. Now retired to stud, we welcome the dawning of a new era as this esteemed champion hopes to stake his claim to immortality. His blazing speed and striking good looks have been passed down to his remarkable first foals. Foals that will carry the flag of their famous father and one day hope to break records of their own. Medication-free and undefeated in sprint competition. Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Welcome back to Belmont Park Live, joined here in the winner's circle by winning owner and breeder Vinny Scuderi with Vincento here. And Vinny, nice 2 days for the mare in seeking the silver.
She's been a godsend for me. She's produced some great horses. This one was probably one of the weakest of the bunch, and we ran him where he could win, and he gave us a good effort today. Now maybe we have to step him up a little bit. But this mare has really been good to me. The Wizard ran great yesterday, and the one Dad's Caps and Paula's Silver Lining were the 2 best horses I ever had. And hopefully we got some good ones coming forward.
I was going to say, it's kind of rare that the first 2 are the best ones sometimes where you see...
there was ones before then. Liza 2, and I don't know if you remember Congabella. She won a lot of races out of town. So there was some other ones, but then after Dad's Caps and Paula, we stepped the bar up a little. We started breeding to some better horses. So she's been great to me. She saved me in this game, probably. I struggled, always had a good time, pretty good at the claiming game. But these horses have been fantastic.
And sounds like there's another one on the ground as well, a foal to Paula Silver Lining, a daughter of Ghost Zapper.
Correct. We hope to have her ready for Saratoga. She's coming along. She's quick. We just got to see if, she's got probably another month to go, a few more workouts, and hopefully we'll get her to the races up there.
And she's with Rudy?
She's with Rudy. Her name is Liza Jambalaya. I named her after my daughter.
You like Jambalaya?
I like Liza, but her cousins used to call her Liza Jambalaya when she was a kid, and we always decided we were going to make a racehorse that name, and why not? Let's give it a shot.
Vinny, I got to say, you're the only man that has any luck of naming horses after family members. So best of luck with her, and congrats with these 2 this week.
Thank you very much.
All right, Greg.
I love jambalaya.
Me too. Tasty.
Went to New Orleans earlier this year, my first time there.
Really?
Some good jambalaya. Vincento, $8 for the win. Manny Franco, Rudy Rodriguez, and you just saw there Vinny Scuderi. So it'll include, it's his first turf win in 6 tries.
Yeah, and congratulations to the Connections. It's so difficult to win a race. It's difficult to keep winning races, especially when you are both the owner and the breeder. So this is a big win for the Connections, and well done to them. And not a bad performance from Mobridge, just a little quirky.
Run Happy, our show brought to you in part by this former champion sprinter each and every day. There he is in legendary Stall 1 at Claiborne Farm in Paris, Kentucky. Undefeated on the racetrack as a sprinter. Running all that time without the addition of Lasix medication. Setting a track record at Keeneland in the process as well in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. And named champion sprinter of 2015. Gonna see his runners coming to the racetrack soon. Race 7, approaching the 20-minute mark to post, and we're on the main track for this one. 50,000 starter allowance at 7 furlongs right now. Mesotherm for Lacey Gaudette opening up as a 3-1 favorite.
Yeah, my sister. Look at that. This horse is interesting. The tricky thing about this race is that it's hard to trust anybody in particular here, Greg, including Mesotherm. And I like him. I picked him. But he's 5 years old, and he only has 2 lifetime starts. And I think that's kind of a reoccurring theme in this field.
Birthday wishes too, right?
Yeah.
To
30.
Sis. Happy birthday for sure. We'll see what happens with Mesotherm coming up. It's a showdown of Grade 1 winners in the Distaff Division Saturday at Delaware. ELATE and Apple Blossom winner Unbridled Mo going head-to-head. We'll preview that race, which we're going to be bringing you this weekend. Stay tuned for that next.
Make NYRA your home for online horse racing and betting. Start earning your sign-up bonus right now. With NYRA, you can use our state-of-the-art website to bet on live horse racing at over 200 tracks around the world. Bet anywhere, anytime, using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Build your bankroll with our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now at NYRABets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus now. NYRA, racing's best play.
Switches back to the outside. Exaggerator down to the 16th pole, but Exaggerator has turned the tables. He has won the Preakness. Phoenix has won the Travers over American Flag. Irish War Cry has won the Wood Memorial. Alice. Good Magic's gonna win his first race, and he's gonna do it in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile.
ELATE still has no place to go. Asking for money is there on the... ELATE still has no place to go. Asking for money is there on the outside. Can ELATE get through? She's trying to squeeze through a slim opening here. And through the eye of a needle, here she comes. And ELATE has charged through to take the lead, and she is taking off for the wire. Leaving the others behind, ELATE dominates the Beldame.
That was an incredible performance last year. That was the first for ELATE against older horses, and once she got a little bit of room, she just simply exploded in that performance. Feather in her cap for this race coming up this weekend, which you'll be on site, the Delaware Handicap. She's the only one in this field to have a win at 1.25 miles.
That's definitely a feather in the cap and a little bit of an advantage. Not only that, Greg, if she picks up or even moves forward from her races in the latter half of her 3-year-old season, she is by far the class of the field. I am so excited to see this filly come back. Belmont had always said that she was kind of a slow to develop type of 3-year-old, that she would be better in the second half of the season, a Saratoga type of filly, so to speak, and she proved that. So I'm happy to see her back at the races, and she's a horse to beat on Saturday.
Oh, by the way, she's also won at Delaware as well. She did that during her 3-year-old campaign last year. Going to be taking on the likes of Unbridled Mo, 7 for 11 in her career for trainer Todd Fletcher and Red Oak Stable.
She comes out of the Ogden Fibs, but this is her victory in the Apple Blossom 2 starts ago out at Oaklawn Park, and she ran very well in here. She is a filly that can be pretty, or a mare I should say, that can be pretty versatile. She can find herself closer to the pace. She can close from off of it, as she did in here. Wasn't crazy about the Ogden Fibs. And see, she can be kind of a quirky filly and switching leads coming down the lane at Oaklawn, but she has the recency, and she is the biggest threat to ELATE on Saturday.
It'll be quite a showdown between these two Grade 1 winners in that 1.25 mile Delaware Handicap. We're going to be bringing you that race. We will also have 3-year-olds on the turf in the Kent And a lot of intriguing runners in this group, including Untamed Domain coming back with Jose Ortiz, in the irons for Grand Motion.
I love this race, and every year the Kent always comes up a very interesting race. Of course, Untamed Domain is the horse to beat. He's coming out of the Pennine Ridge behind the likes of Catholic Boy and Analyze It, so he's got the class. But he is also a horse that's sometimes a little bit pace dependent. I think you can make good money in this race.
Carrick, maybe an up-and-comer, is going to have the inside post for trainer Tom Morley. Undefeated, 2 for 2. Both those wins come on the turf here at Belmont. Maggie Wolfendale caught up with trainer Tom Morley about the big jump up in class.
Joined now by trainer Tom Morley, who will be sending out Carrick in the Grade 3 Kent down at Delaware. And Tom, Carrick is 2 for 2 in his life on the turf. Talk about your decision to go for graded stakes in his 3rd start of his career.
It's tough at this time of the year, Maggie, for these 3-year-olds to run against older horses, and obviously we're heading upstate to Saratoga now. And I just felt that this was the right time to stay amongst our own age group. He has beaten older horses twice, but obviously in much lesser company. You know, he's a relatively inexperienced horse, but he has had it. You know, he has had a not tough trip, but he's been stuck inside on both his races. He's got a good bit of experience, but the Kent's for 3-year-olds, and it's at the trip that he wants to be running at. It's a 1 1/8. You know, we could go up to Saratoga and run against potentially some horses from Europe in an A other than up there that have been pointing towards that specific race. I'm not saying that he won't end up running at Saratoga towards the end of the meet, but this seemed like a very logical step for him.
You had mentioned to me that the 1 hole is ideal for him. Why do you say that?
Yeah, he was actually drawn 1 when he won last time. He was drawn 3 on debut. He's been drawn inside both times, and I've seen it in the morning from him as well. He's a much better horse inside, funny enough. I said to Javi last time, I said, just remember that if you've got the option to go inside or outside, stay inside. So he went outside and made me look like an idiot by winning very comfortably. But as he said, Tom, he learned so much from his first race that really the guts of the race were run inside, and he was very comfortable in there. The Kent looks like it'll set up beautifully for him. There's enough pace outside that I don't expect him to be on the front end. Johnny will be able to sit in the box seat and see if he's good enough in the lane.
All right, Tom, best of luck with Carrick.
Thank you.
That race is going to kick off a cross-country pick 4 on Saturday. You can go to NYRA.com/cross-country. Begins at 4:54 Eastern Time. Includes the Delaware Handicap as well, the Apple Blossom. So races 8 and 9. Forbidden Apple, excuse me. Races 8 and 9 from both Belmont Park and from Delaware, where Gabby Gaudette will be live on site this weekend. We're looking forward to it. It's going to be a tremendous card, and we hope you join us. We're going to take a break in the action. We will return. Change of venue. 4-year-old son of Claiborne sire Algorithms trying to get back in the winner's circle, making career start number 3 for Linda Rice when we come back.
An undefeated graded stakes winner on the track, Algorithms was the nation's #1 sire of 2-year-olds in 2017 by percentage of winners. His top runners include multiple graded stakes performer Rich Mommy, winner of the Grade 3 Sugar Swirl, multiple stakes winner and graded stakes performer Recruiting Ready, and stakes winners He Hate Me and Sunset Ridge. In the ring, his yearlings have commanded prices up to $220,000. Algorithms, standing at Claiborne Farm.
You're watching Belmont Park Live here on MSG Plus, and it's time for a paddock report. This one brought to you by Hillendale Farm. Maggie Wolfendale along with Greg Wolf and Gabby Gaudet as we'll take a look at the field here for race number 7, beginning with a horse who is coming back into New York. But first off, the claim for different connections in Robertino Diodoro, and I'm talking about number 1 in here. That is Class 1. Also off a little bit of a freshening. Haven't seen him since running second at Keeneland back in late April. Now, the only other time I'd seen this horse, he pretty much looked exactly the same as he does here today. Big, good-looking, healthy, completely dappled, like what I'm seeing from Class 1 here overall. See how he classes up, though, with the rest of this field. Next, we'll check in with the horse who's coming off of a nice maiden win at Monmouth Park in Mesotherm for the birthday girl and Lacey Gaudet. And this horse beating a horse who came back with a 92 blowout win in his next start and Isolated at Parks. This horse matches right up with the rest of his competition here. He looks fantastic. He's bigger, he's well conditioned, he's fit, he has some class about him, and I like what I'm seeing from Mesotherm, definitely the lightest raced of any of the contenders in here. As we'll check into the horse just to his outside in number 5, the Caretaker for Kieran McLaughlin. Yes, he doesn't like to win. I mean, out of 15 starts, he has 9 seconds and thirds with that lone win. He does look good here, though, for his connections. So we'll see if he can finally get the job done and capitalize on those second and third efforts here. Greg?
All right, Maggie, thank you. You can bet all the live racing action with us from home with a NIRA Bets account. Earn a $200 new member bonus by entering that promo code LIVE at sign up and bet any track, anywhere, anytime, right from home or wherever you may be with the NIRA Bets app. Go to NIRABets.com, enter that promo code LIVE to take advantage of that $200 sign-up bonus as we get a look at the Caretaker, who Maggie was mentioning does not have a great affinity for crossing the wire first, just 1 for 14 lifetime, but always runs a pretty good race.
This video is actually on Mesotherm, which is the favorite, the number 4 in this upcoming race. But you could kind of see him coming out of the gate in that he did not break sharply whatsoever. He's the number 5 in this race that we're showing right now. So he was bumped at the start. He was off to a disadvantage from the get-go. He was wide on the outside too, Greg. And if you kind of look at his chart, it kind of seems like he was forwardly placed throughout. But I actually thought that he had to overcome some adversity and wound up getting a wide trip, a difficult trip, just considering that it was his second start of his career. And he won this race impressively. To me, it seems like he can take a big step forward off of this.
We'll see. Very lightly raced. That was start number 2 of his career. And as Maggie had mentioned, the horse he would beat in this race would come back and win with a big buyer number next time out. Post-parade coming up. We're going to start with Class 1. Robertino Diodoro off the claim, and Angel Arroyo rides.
And another one that dropped in class, they dove in for him for $40,000. Finds a decent level here today.
No break from post 5 in this race. The rail is going to go to the 2. We'll see in a moment. Here's the other half of the entry. You're Killing Me. Break second to the outside.
He's always right there, but he's starting to rack up those defeats. Don't like the fact that he's got 4 seconds out of 8 starts.
Here's the 2. Scarf it down the inside post. Manny Franco, we just saw win. Teams up with Jeremiah Englehart.
Was bumped a little bit coming out of the gate last time out. He's got back races earlier last year. That would definitely make him competitive here.
Here's the race we just showed you, the horse we showed you from his race last out, Mesotherm, the son of Trap Shot for Lacey Gaudet.
Lightly raced 5-year-old. He's making his 3rd career start, but his last race was mighty impressive.
The Caretaker for Kieran McLaughlin. Luis Saez aboard was second last out at 6.5 here at Belmont.
Another one that is racking up those defeats, but he had faced allowance company and tougher company for the majority of those tries.
I thought the 6 might be tough in here. Korea's Brooklyn Law with Dylan Davis in the irons.
I agree with you. I think he's a very interesting one, turning back in distance today.
Roman Revival. Here's the 7 here. John Velasquez will ride coming off back-to-back thirds at Finger Lakes.
Yeah, has been running at Finger Lakes, and I think has been running against much inferior competition.
Change of venue. This was a Chad Brown horse. He put the horse in for a claim. The horse won by nearly 10 lengths. Linda Rice took the horse and then ran 3rd in a 50,000 starter allowance.
But definitely a step up against winners for the first time. I thought ran a very similar race.
And infield is in. Kind of an intriguing long shot here is going to go turf to dirt.
And another one who is cutting back in distance slightly. That could be suitable for him. He hopes for a hot pace in front of him.
Standing by with the birthday girl and the trainer, the favorite right now. Let's go to Maggie Wolfendale.
I was going to say, Lacey, how lucky do you feel on your birthday?
Have
you been lucky?
I guess we'll find out in a couple minutes.
Well, Mesotherm, he broke his maiden very nicely last time out at Monmouth, and the horse that came back and finished second to him, huge win at Parks. Does that build your confidence coming into the starter allowance?
Yes, and he came out of the race great. He's been training really well going into this, and he's still, even for his age, he's lacks in experience. So he's learning every day, and he's just getting so professional, and he looks great. So we just hope that he comes back off that race like he did last time.
And broke a little slowly that day, but quickly got his feet underneath of him. Have you been schooling him at the gate? Do you think he'll break sharply? Is that just something he does?
Yeah, that's kind of what I told Irad. I said just pay attention to that a little bit, just because he got over there so late in his 5-year-old season, and he's always kind of been a little hesitant out of the gate. And the first time was really slow, and then the second time was a little bit slow. So hopefully today, I said, it's still kind of I said, I can't tell you where he's going to be or what to do with him, because it's still a learning process for him. So I have confidence in Irad.
He looks great out on the track as well. And Lacey, we had plenty of Gaudettes up in Saratoga last year. Though you only came up a couple times. We had Gabby, obviously, and your mom. Are you guys going to be a presence up at the spa again this year?
We are. We have a handful of stalls up there, and hopefully we were a little overpopulated in Maryland, and now we've kind of got a great crew behind us, so I can be out of Maryland circuit for a little while. So hopefully I can get up there and enjoy it a little bit more this year.
Well, looking forward to seeing you up there. Best of luck here with Mesotherm, though.
Thanks.
All right, guys. Gabby, I got it in with the birthday girl here.
And they tried to have you steal some of her spotlight right there.
I'm like hunched over watching this.
How important is the start here for this horse, do you think, today?
It is. It's very important because, look, he got away to a slow start last time out. But, this is a much tougher field. So the break is imperative to him today, but it looks like he's on his toes. His ears are pricked. He's showing some really good energy on the track. You love to see that. But, yeah, he was slow to get going. But with experience, hopefully he improves out of the gate.
2-1 favorite right now. And as we heard from Lacey Gaudette, got a little bit better out of the gate, start number 2. So hopefully that continues with start number 3, that trend, getting out better.
If he wins, she's buying me dinner. If
you cannot
no,
make
kidding.
your sister on her birthday buy you dinner no matter what happens.
Nice Italian dinner, I know.
It is mandatory for you. Here's a look at Class 1, part of the entry here. Second choice on the board in Class 1, Angel Arroyo with that rider change was just second by a half length at Keeneland for 40,000, now winners of 2. And now for a barn that certainly can move them up.
Definitely a vote of confidence that Robertino Diodoro is stepping this horse up and protecting him off of the claim. I did think, though, and he was 2-1 in this performance at Keeneland, so he was well spotted. And actually, Mike Tomlinson, the previous trainer of this horse, had a very good Keeneland meet. I thought he had every opportunity to go past the horse that was on his inside, and he just did not do it. And he is starting to give you the feel that he's doesn't have a lot of follow-through. I thought that was the case with both halves of the entry in here, so I took a little bit of a delayed approach to them. I'm not crazy about the coupled entry here.
Well, it's his first start in about 2.5 months. We'll see if he can move up, and certainly move into that barn should help as well. The 8 on the board at 7-2 right now. Change of venue. That first out effort was so big. And let's keep in mind it was against 40 maiden claiming. You have horses in here like Mesotherm, who won against maiden special weight. Granted, it was out of town. What'd you think of that second effort against 50,000 starter allowance?
I actually thought the Caretaker ran a better race if you want anybody out of that. But that said, the Caretaker is one that has had plenty of opportunities to win and hasn't, whereas Change of Venue, the thought is that he could surely improve in his third start. But a lot of the times, I don't really like to see a lightly raced horse, pair up similar races back to back. Leads me to believe that that's kind of their max, right? They're not going to improve in their third start. You compare his races kind of to Mesotherm, who vastly improved in his second start. So there is that natural progression. that's the only thing that bothers me about the number 8.
So we'll see. 7-2. Jose Ortiz will be taking over, and he was on board for that maiden score in the debut, although that was for a different barn. As we get another look here at the favorite, 2-1 on Mesotherm. I'm with you. I thought the Caretaker's race was decent last time out. It's just tough to take 1 for 14 on a horse who 9 of those 14 times has been second or third.
Exactly, but he did make that early move into the pace. He ran the best, and look, yes, he is 1 for 14, but some of those were against New York bred Allowance Company, which is by far much tougher than what he faces today.
How much tougher a test, too, for Mesotherm now? That win, impressive, but it was at 6 furlongs. Now you got to go 7 furlongs.
Well,
big difference?
I think he can handle it because he did debut at 7/8, and he proved effective there, too, although he didn't win.
There's the 9 horse, last in line. Infield is in. We're set for the second leg here. This late pick 4. Mesotherm, the 4, the 1 to beat. Let's send it upstairs to Larry Colmus for the call.
Ready for the start. They're off. Roman Revival comes out quickly and takes the early lead in company with the Caretaker on the inside. And between those two is Class 1 as the field heads up the backstretch. On the inside, Mesotherm settles back and runs along in 4th position early on. 2 lengths ahead of You're Killing Me in 5th. Greer's Brooklyn Law, infield is in next, and then Change of Venue and Scarf It Down on the inside. The Caretaker has taken charge here on 23.31 the quarter, on top by a half length moving into the turn. Class 1 on the outside, running in second by a length and a half. And they're followed by Mesotherm, who's down on the inside of Roman Revival as they move around the turn. You're Killing Me follows in 5th, 5 lengths to make up. And they're being followed by Scarf It Down. Infield is in on the outside. Greer's Brooklyn Law down toward the rail, and Change of Venue last after a 46.56 half mile. They're coming to the top of the stretch here, and it is the Caretaker who rides the rail to the top of the lane. Class 1. On the outside comes Mesotherm. Now these 3 arrive at the 8th pole. Infield is in is next, and then comes Korea's Brooklyn Law. And on the far outside, You're Killing Me. The Caretaker keeps on fighting on the inside. The Caretaker from Mesotherm, and the Caretaker's going to do it. The Caretaker beats Mesotherm, and then came You're Killing Me and Korea's Brooklyn Law in 122.72.
Make it 2 for 15 now. The Caretaker, Kieran McLaughlin, Luis Saez get the win here in race 7.
Yeah, but this race did not come out of nowhere, Greg. I mean, we did mention that he ran a huge race last time out. This is a horse who has experience going 6.5 furlongs, so the 7 furlongs wasn't out of his realm, and he got a perfect trip and a perfect ride under Luis Saez, saving ground the entire way. Loved the aggressive strategy with him as well. I thought that that made all the difference.
Wins at 6-1. And that's the first win that even shows up on the page for this horse. It's been a long time. And Mesotherm putting in a good effort and just could not get to the Caretaker.
Yeah, and you know, you brought up a good point before the race had run. Maybe 7 furlongs is a touch too far for him. Maybe he does want to stay more towards the 3/4. Looked like he was coming on and then was just turned back coming down the stretch by the Caretaker. But this was a nice little win for this horse for his 2nd time in the winner's circle.
Kieran McLaughlin Barn getting the job done for Chester and Mary Broman. And Luis Saez again with the victory at odds of 6-1 here. So that should play big in the Naira Bets late pick 5 and the pick 4. We're going to step aside. We'll be back with the prices in a moment. Photo for show. I just came in 5, 4, 1A, and 6. World record holder at 6 furlongs on the turf, Disco Partner, will try to stretch out again and repeat in the Forbidden Apple, where Speedy Voodoo Song will try and give him a true test. We'll preview that race when we come back.
And they're off in New York. The premier state bred program in the United States. When you own a New York bred, your horse can run for more than $44 million in purses, restricted to registered New York breds. And the New York program pays awards to breeders, owners, and stallion owners when their New York breds finish 1st, 2nd, or 3rd at New York tracks. We have the quality.
Audible, no doubt about it.
You have the opportunity. New York breds, get with the program. The best program.
Back on Belmont Park Live here on MSG Plus, and it is the Caretaker. Picture time here for the son of Speightstown, trained by Karen McLaughlin, Luis Saez, and Chester Mary Broman.
A nice return of $14.60. Congratulations to the Connections. The Caretaker by Speightstown out of the AP Mare Safety Net.
Let's go downstairs to Maggie Wolfendahl.
I'm pleased to be joined by assistant to Karen McLaughlin, Joe Lee. And Joe, the Caretaker, well, he finally got the job done. He'd been knocking on the door a bit. Changed tactics today, though. Sent him out of the gate and secured a lead.
Well, that was Louis' decision after the race, you know, prior to it, really. He broke well, and, you know, he had really no choice. So he just sat. And Louis said he was comfortable where he was, so said I had a lot of horse under him at the head of the lane, and it worked out, so yeah. Good.
Now, obviously, only 1 for 15 going into today, but lots of seconds and thirds. Do you think it was, obviously, he's a good-looking horse, he's well-conditioned, but is it a factor of him really not wanting to pass other horses?
I don't think so. If you look at some of the replays, especially when Martin Garcia rode him, he was stuck in a pocket that day, had nowhere to go, finally got him out. Trevor, you know, had a choice to go inside one time. We kind of gave him instructions that he likes it, you know, on the outside a little bit better. So that was kind of our mistake. Trevor said he thought he could win that day. Unfortunately, he came outside. So no, I don't think it has to do with him just having second-itis or third-itis or whatever. I think it was just unfortunate how the races developed those days.
Well, luck was on his side today. Congratulations here, Joe. And if you guys don't know, Joe is one of the nicest people on the backside.
Well, thank you very much, Maggie. And you are too. So thanks.
Also, one of the most modest people here, Greg.
Thanks.
Well done. Getting a nice little moment there to enjoy that for the Caretaker, an important part of Karen McLaughlin's barn. And Trevor, he was talking about Trevor McCarthy, who had been on board a couple of starts earlier this year at the meet at Belmont and at Aqueduct, which resulted in more seconds and thirds. But today, breaks through and gets another win.
And that's what Luis Saez does best, is he is aggressive, and horses generally like to be on lead. Here's a pick 5 follow along. We got a nice price in there, $14.60. Vincento returned pretty nicely, so we're maybe keying up for a nice payout here.
On our way, if you're live in this Naira Bets Late Pick 5, to another nice payoff. Again, all it takes is one price, and we have it already. It's proven to be an incredible play, and the only way to play it if you do not reside in the state of New York is through NIRABets.com. Get signed up, get started, and get involved. Big races coming up, not only the ones we previewed out of town. You're going to be at Delaware, of course, this weekend for us, but here on site, we have the Forbidden Apple, and world record holder at 6 furlongs. Disco partner, the big storyline going into this race last year, could he stretch out to a longer distance and get it done? And he proved in this race that absolutely he could.
He did it. He did it very impressively. He won by almost 4 lengths in this year, or last year's rendition of the Forbidden Apple. And this year he's coming into the race just as strong. The Jaipur last time out was very impressive for him. So he's just a cool horse to follow. He's won 10 times out of 23 career starts. The Millionaire Disco partner.
Here's a look at his repeat win back on June the 9th in the Jaipur. He was, this time the word was out. We know how good he is. He went off as the favorite in this spot, and his typical move mid-pack, and then he just bursts away from this field to get the job done. Impressive performance. He was coming off a third in the Shakertown. Maybe didn't take to that soft turf at Keeneland.
For sure, and generally speaking, Christophe Clement's horses, they just really improve second start off of the layoff, and that's what we saw from him. He signed on as the 9-5 favorite in the Forbidden Apple on Saturday, but I think that is a very interesting race, including the likes of Voodoo Song, who seems to have found his form that he had last year, too.
Yeah, he kind of stepped up. We knew he was a very good horse. 4 wins again last year at that meet at Saratoga, which was incredible. But then he showed in the Grade 3 Saranac he could win against better competition, so now taking some tougher spots on, and we know how quick he is.
He, like you said, he went through a little bit of a lull, probably in the second half of the year. But he was one that I thought just needed to maybe cut back in distance a little bit. So they cut him back in distance. He got the victory at 7/8 here at Belmont. and he got the job done. So it's up against him a little bit. He definitely has to show his A game against Disco Partner, but I like him. He's a fun horse to root for.
All right. He ran very good in that grade 3 poker against Oscar Performance. That was a lights-out performance in the return for Oscar Performance last time out. So looking forward to that. That is coming up this Saturday. We will have it for you live. And again, it's part of that cross-country pick 4. Brian Lynch going to be sending out lightly raced EMMY Performance in the 8th. Still coming up. She was impressive as could be last time out. Circling the field, getting a win. Back on June the 7th. Now she's going to be tackling winners for the very first time. We'll have the 8th race for you when we come back right after this.
His record-breaking accomplishments on the racetrack paved his way here to the Stall of Legends. Now retired to stud, we welcome the dawning of a new era as this esteemed champion hopes to stake his claim to immortality. His blazing speed and striking good looks have been passed down to his remarkable first foals. Foals that will carry the flag of their famous father and one day hope to break records of their own. Medication-free and undefeated in sprint competition. Run happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Make NIRA your home for online horse racing and betting. Start earning your sign-up bonus right now. With NIRA, you can use our state-of-the-art website to bet on live horse racing at over 200 tracks around the world. Bet anywhere, anytime, using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Build your bankroll with our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now at NIRABets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus now. Get a $200 new member sign-up bonus on NIRABets.com.
You're watching Belmont Park Live on MSG Plus. Thanks for being with us on this Thursday afternoon. Incredible weather for a great card coming up. There's Silver Shaker, who is the one to beat in our feature race ahead. 1.25 miles on the inner turf. Entry-level allowance sent out by the powerful Chad Brown barn. Just missed to her stablemate last time out. We'll see if she can get in the winner's circle today for the second time in her career. Greg Wolf, Gabby Gaudet, and she launches from pretty far back.
She does, so she's going to need a little bit of pace flow to work in front of her, but you do know that she needs the distance. Her last race was her first race off of the layoff, and arguably it was a little bit too short, so she's fine at this distance, but it's still a tough race, and 9-5 seems a little aggressive on her.
It does, although, yeah, as you mentioned, she has won at 1.25 miles. As we take a look at the entire field here, she's the one to beat on the board right now. There she is. Joel Rosario will be aboard this afternoon as the 8-5 choice here in this race, and not a lot of pace in this race. This is back on June the 14th. Her 4-year-old return, and it would be her stablemate Complicit, who was further back than even she was, which was a little odd, who would get the win.
Yeah, you would say that looking at least the time, the slow time, given the fact that it was 1 1/16 miles, that maybe she was pace compromised. Not the case. I didn't really think that she had an excuse to lose. As you said, the winner closed from even farther back, but it was maybe just too short, and she's proven effective at this distance.
Meanwhile, EMMY Performance, 1.25 miles, going to be certainly a question mark for her. So was the competition, but she looked fantastic in the second start of her career, launching from the clouds to get up for a win against a Chad Brown second-time starter.
She was pretty disappointing in her debut at Churchill, but she came back firing on all cylinders in her second start here. We can see her closing from off of the pace, really closing from last. But a couple things. She got a fast pace at the mile to close into. Sometimes we see closers at the mile, especially the one-turn mile here at Belmont. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to improve at a 1.25 miles. So, and there's obviously a class test there. She just broke her maiden. She's going against stakes quality type of mares in here.
Yeah, that was a horse to make it the second start of her career for Chad Brown that she faced, who obviously is still a maiden. Now you're taking on Silver Shaker, who is much more accomplished, even though just one win, as we get a look there at EMMY Performance. And here's a look at Bengala for Christophe Clement. He is really starting to heat up here late in this meet at Belmont. He's already won earlier today on the card, and this will be the third U.S. start for this 4-year-old filly.
Yes, the barn is definitely heating up. This was her performance at Keeneland 2 starts back. This was actually her stateside debut. It was over a soft going this day, and I thought she had a good trip. Not much of an excuse. She kind of made her move and then just hit an even spot coming down the stretch. She was defeated by Creative Thinking, though, who came back to win the Kirtana at Churchill, getting a 92 by her speed figure for that. So she did face quality horses in that field.
There's trainer Christophe Clement. Things going really well for that barn right now.
He's pointing at people. I don't know. That didn't look good.
Trainer standings, and he's right up there among the top 5, but it's Chad Brown who has pulled away from this group with 33 wins, giving him all kinds of momentum going into Saratoga. We had Dave Grenning on the show yesterday, New York correspondent for the Daily Racing Form. He thought Chad Brown 1-5, did he say, to win the trainer's title at Saratoga?
I guess his mentality is that Chad Brown, he did mention, went overseas and purchased some European types of 2-year-olds, and he's going to come with loaded for bear, I think, at Saratoga. Whereas Todd Pletcher, his 2-year-olds, I don't know if they've been so impressive yet. So that really does make all the difference for a meet like Saratoga.
We're going to talk about one of those 2-year-olds, though, for Pletcher, who was pretty impressive a little bit later on in the show. Right now, it's downstairs for a paddock report to Maggie Wolfendale. It's brought to you by Hillendale Farm, now standing Byron for $25,000.
Greg, thank you. And while Silver Shaker, second off the bench here, is much the filly to beat. She looks strong, she looks good, and back out to a 1.25 miles should suit her. A horse that is coming back off of a second place effort, well beaten though as the favorite, is number 1 Bengala. Now I did like her last time. I really couldn't fault her at all in the paddock. Now she does come in here. She has a hood on here today. We'll see if they'll actually take that off prior to going out to the track, if it's just something to keep her calm during her time in the paddock overall, and it has worked. She is very calm here, and we'll see if she's a filly that can live up to the backing that she had in her first 2 starts, and yet she was unable to seal the deal. Like I said, I like her. She's a horse that fits very nicely with these and this distance. Moving on to one coming off of a long layoff, over a year, actually 13 months since we've seen Smart Together, and actually first time we've seen her here in this country for trainer Michael Matz. And you got to think that the reason they brought her over, other than being an American-bred horse and still owned by Augustin, is that maybe they thought she would prefer the firm going here, as she did break her maiden on the good to firm there at Haydock. She looks pretty fit to me. I mean, I can't falter too much considering that long layoff. I just don't know how she necessarily classes up with the likes of Silver Shaker and Bengala. We'll find out more though today, as we'll also take a look at a recent maiden winner in number 10, EMMY Performance. Nice family for this gal, and she'll try to stretch out from the mile when she broke her maiden here going into Belmont Stakes Racing Festival, and she looks like she should handle it, to be completely honest. She's smaller, but she's got that real even form, I should say, kind of build to her. And that's really kind of what you see with these European types that want these kind of long distances overall. So I'm fairly optimistic here about EMMY Performance handling the 1.25 miles, Greg.
7-1. Thanks, Maggie, on EMMY Performance here, stepping up and taking on winners for the very first time off that impressive maiden victory at a mile, now trying to go 1.25 miles. 9-5 favorite, though, is the 3, Silver Shaker, for Chad Brown, making her second start of her 4-year-old season. We'll have this race for you when we come back.
Make NYRA Bets your home for online horse racing and betting. Start earning your sign-up bonus right now With NIRA you can use our state-of-the-art website to bet on live horse racing at over 200 tracks around the world. Bet anywhere, anytime, using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Build your bankroll with our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now at NIRABets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus now. NIRA, racing's best play.
Grade 1 winner Data Link by world-renowned sire Warthrock. Data Link scored in the prestigious Grade 1 Makers 46 mile at Keeneland, then set a new course record in the Grade 2 Monmouth Stakes. His runners include stakes winner Star Doza, along with a growing list of talented young runners. At public auction, his yearlings have sold up to $200,000. Data Link, standing at Claiborne Park.
Back on Belmont Park Live, there's Joe L. Rosario. Riders up, getting a leg up on Silver Shaker, our current 8-5 favorite here in our featured 8th race of the afternoon.
You know, I sometimes don't put a lot of stock into trainer-jockey combinations, but the numbers speak for themselves. Whenever Joel Rosario rides for Chad Brown, it's usually successful. In the past year at Belmont, 41% they're winning.
It's amazing.
Incredible.
So we'll see. This will be the first time Rosario has been aboard Silver Shaker and has that experience and benefit of that race back on June the 14th at this condition. Should be fitter, tighter, you would think, here for start number 2 of her 4-year-old campaign. As we get a look at that 2 moving, but I thought this 2 was sneaky in here. That's way too big a price on double cast.
Do you think so? What do you like about her?
Well, first,
I don't see it.
I think third off the bench, this horse is going to show improvement, but it does make you wonder, wouldn't John Velasquez be riding for Leo O'Brien here if the horse was ready to fire big today with the family connection?
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, and it's interesting that he picks up the mount on the 7 purely lucky instead.
I think this horse has run very good efforts against better runners out of the Chad Brown barn. Dovecoat ran very good against. Homeland Security ran very good against that horse back in maiden races. And the horse, I think, had an excuse. Had some issues going into the gate last time out, so I think he maybe put a line through that race. If this horse shows more improvement third off the bench, this horse could be tough.
We could see it, and she's won at 1.25 miles, which is always very important in races like this.
Get signed up, started, play along. You can play this race coming up. Go to NIRABets.com, $200 new members sign up bonus. Use the promo code LIVE and take advantage. Bet any track, anytime, anywhere. Go to NIRABets.com. and play along. All right, our post parade is coming up. Silver Shaker has remained the favorite throughout, and the price getting lower and lower, 8-5 right now. on the 4-year-old filly. But we're going to begin with Bengala for Christophe Clement, making her 3rd start here in the States. She debuted at Keeneland in the U.S. Then at Belmont, we saw her on June the 13th when she was beat by Violet Blue. We see Maggie leaving our screen. Irad Ortiz Jr. aboard today.
There we go. There we see the 4-year-old filly, trained by Christophe Clement, and she's looking for her first win since her first start, and that was in Ireland last year.
But with this barn, they're improving by leaps and bounds right now. Here's double cast the 2, Junior Alvarado, Leo O'Brien.
The long shot that Greg likes a little bit here, making her 3rd start off of that layoff. We'll see if she can get the job done today at a price.
Silver Shaker, the favorite for Chad Brown. Joel Rosario aboard.
She is one that's proven at this distance. She's got the class, but does she get the pace?
Galileo's Melody, sent out by Graham Ocean, making just her 3rd career start. She's coming off a maiden score at Pimlico.
Loved those swampy conditions of the soft turf last time out at Pimlico. Her debut leaves a little to be desired, though.
17-1. Here's Purely Lucky. She's coming off a win at Belmont at 1 1/8 for Brad Cox.
She primarily raced at shorter distances. They finally stretched her out to 9 furlongs last time out. Maybe she's one that will improve with distance.
Smart Together, out of the dam Forever Together, your Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf winner back in 2008.
Awesome pedigree. Excited to see this filly race. Also by Smart Strike, and she's making her stateside debut today.
Courageous Dinah, trained by Ned Allard. And it will be Joe Bravo in the irons.
Ran okay last time out. She was close to the pace, whereas the top 2 finishers closed from last.
And Emmy Performance, here's Luis Saez aboard for Brian Lynch at 6-1.
A lot to prove, but if you like her, you're actually getting a pretty decent price. Morning line, 4-1.
So that's your field here for our feature event of this afternoon here in race 8. Still 8-5 favoritism on Chad Brown's Silver Shaker to 3 as we get a look here at Smart Together. So you talked about this incredible pedigree here, and this will be the state's debut, just her 4th career start.
Yes, and it's been a long time since folks have seen her, since June of last year, actually, so over a year layoff for this filly. But she is by Smart Strike. Not only is she out of champion turf female mare Forever Together, but she's also a half to Truly Together, who Michael Matz did campaign successfully as well. So there's definitely a lot to like, including in the bloodlines here.
Yeah, a lot of reasons to see this one stepping up and enjoying things here in the U.S. as we take a look at Purely Lucky, again coming off that victory last time out. That was against state-bred entry-level allowance, facing open here.
Difficult class test here for her, but I think she's very interesting in that she ran okay at 1 1/16, poor at 7 furlongs, ran better at 9 furlongs. Now she's stretching out to the farthest that she's ever been. Maybe she's been running at the wrong distance her entire career.
And she had to face a couple back, very good. That was a good field overall, but mentality for Wesley Ward, very talented runner that she had to deal with, and that was at 7 furlongs. She is at 5-1 on the board, taking play from an 8-1 morning line.
Not to mention barns that have been doing well. That's definitely the case with Brad Cox, not only here at Belmont, but all around the country.
Well, this one, tough read here, because you mentioned those soggy conditions are what Galileo's Melody won over at Pimlico, and that's the only win you see in her form line.
This was Preakness weekend, and unfortunately it was a bog, whatever races they decided to keep on the turf. And I looked at this filly in the paddock. She was decent looking, but I also looked at her pedigree by Galileo out of a Grand Lodge mare, that Irish pedigree from top to bottom. You knew that she was going to skip right over that type of surface. Today, completely different surface. It's rock hard here. So whether or not she regresses off of that, I'm not so sure, but she definitely relished those conditions last out.
20-1 right now for career start number 3. For more, let's go to Maggie Wolfendale.
And that's why you don't see many Galileos racing here in America. They just prefer that very soft going, and that's not something that Galileo's Melody is going to see here today. That is for certain. She definitely looks like that kind of Irish type of runner as well. Smaller in stature, but I gotta say that, you know, she does carry good muscle mass, which is usually my main complaint with these types. I just think she's up against it here. As far as the turf condition, she's going to have to hope and pray and do rain dances every single time she runs, given the fact that that's her preference with a soft yielding type of going. Moving on to number 7 in here, Purely Lucky. She's a filly that sometimes she gets really wound up before her races, but since she's kind of been back in action and racing regularly, that's kind of subsided a bit, and I like that for her, trying to go the furthest that she's gone in her career so far. It'll be interesting to see where we see her placed. I mean, she doesn't have much early speed at all, and what tactics they employ here with Johnny V aboard. I don't like the fact, though, guys, that she's skipping a condition. I mean, she's taking some money because it's Brad Cox, but she has that 2X for New York breds, and yes, sometimes it's tough to get it to fill at a mile and a quarter. I suppose they just really want this kind of distance for, which is a positive, but she gets a little bit of a class test for sure.
No doubt. Here, 6-1 on the 7, Purely Lucky. As we get another look here at EMMY Performance, making her 3rd career start. She loved that mile, getting through from the back of the pack. Made that eye-popping run to break her maiden just in her 2nd start.
It's so hard to predict if a horse is going to like the stretch out to a mile and a quarter, though, because of the way that she closed. How often do we see closers, that what she did in her maiden victory, be successful at a mile and a quarter? You almost want them to have more of tactical speed, be in a stalking position by the time they get in the quarter pole. That said, why couldn't she find herself in that position? She was behind the pace in a very fast pace at a mile with the distance. Do you think that she could maybe sit mid-pack? These are questions.
I mean, that certainly benefited her. She's not going to get a hot pace today.
No.
So the fact that I kind of played into her hand in that performance, I thought it made it look a little better than it was. But
Yeah.
we'll see.
She's tricky. 9-2. I thought she would take a little bit more money than this.
Here we go. We're all set. Silver Shaker, the 3, the 1 to beat. Intriguing 8th race coming up. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of New York Racing for the call. Here's Larry Colmus.
They're all in line. Rushing the gate, there's Double Cast. They're off. Purely Lucky had the best start. Bengala from the inside, also flashing some early foot. And then it's Courageous Dinah, EMMY Performance, and on the inside, Galileo's Melody. Smart Together is 3rd last early, ahead of Double Cast and the trailer Silver Shaker. They make their way into that first turn, and it will be Bengala to take up the running here and lead the way. Bengala on top of Purely Lucky by a length and a half. Courageous Dinah 3rd through a 24.99 opening quarter mile. Galileo's Melody is on the hedge just inside of EMMY Performance, clear of Double Cast. And then on the outside comes Smart Together, Silver Shaker, 8 from the top, trailing the field. Bengala, 3/4 of a length ahead of Purely Lucky in the race to the backstretch. Courageous Dinah runs along in 3rd, 3 lengths off the lead as they complete the first half mile in 50.65 seconds. Very slow, deliberate pace here. Galileo's Melody, EMMY Performance together. They are 4th and 5th and 5 from the front. Then Double Cast, Smart Together on the outside, and Silver Shaker. Bengala and Erad Ortiz Jr. leading the way up the backstretch. And in the clear by a length and a half at an easy tempo so far. Purely Lucky on the outside, 2nd, Courageous Dinah, 3rd, 3/4, 1:15.05. Then Galileo's Melody, 4.5 lengths off the lead. EMMY Performance is next. Silver Shaker is on the inside of Double Cast and Smart Together. Around the far turn, Bengala continues to lead them along here. Purely Lucky edging up just a bit closer, 2 lengths ahead of Courageous Dinah. EMMY Performance comes wide for the stretch drive, and they're into the stretch. It is Bengala and Purely Lucky. Bengala kicks away. Bengala kicks away by 2. Purely Lucky is 2nd. Silver Shaker has rallied up between horses. Then Galileo's Melody, and they're coming to the wire, and Bengala is going to do it. Bengala under the wire in front. Silver Shaker got 2nd from Purely Lucky, and Galileo's Melody was 4th in 2:01.6.
Christophe Clement wins again. Bengala got to go very slow early on, and with those kind of fractions, able to finish.
Exactly. She gets her first victory stateside, so congratulations to the connections. But this was a pretty heady ride by Irad Ortiz to just go to the lead with her, slow the pace down, make everybody kind of wait behind her. By then, I mean, we see that Silver Shaker, who was the eventual favorite in this race, she tries to find room, but behind that slow pace, she just had no hope, and she didn't find room until late.
50-3 to the half. Bengala doing it by herself, 1:15 for the 3/4. Considering that, pretty impressive second from Silver Shaker.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And that's what we're saying at 1.25 miles. It's actually very useful to have a little bit of natural speed or positional speed, and that's what we saw from Bengala. That's the biggest Achilles heel from Silver Shaker, is that she's so reliant on the pace.
Bengala puts him to sleep early. Crafty ride from the meet's leading rider. Irad Ortiz Jr. notches another one in here, and Bengala in her third state start back into the winner's circle for the first time here in the U.S. Christophe Clement, couple of wins on the afternoon, while the Prices set up the 9th race when we come back.
Bayern turning for home in front. Coast of New York on the outside. California Chrome is third. Shared Belief laboring back to in fifth. 1 furlong to run. Bayern, Coast of New York. California Chrome on the outside. The three of them come to the wire. Bayern, Coast of New York. California Chrome. Here's the finish. Bayern holds on.
Back on Belmont Park Live, Bengala for Christophe Clement. And Robert Evans, daughter Pivotal, breaks through. Third start here in the U.S. and gets into the winner's circle for the second time in her career. She broke her maiden first time out at Leopardstown in Ireland. 3-win day for the meet's leading rider.
Yes, congratulations to Irad with his third winner on today's card. A very nice ride. It's slowing things down on the front end and taking the field wire to wire.
Christophe Clement, things going very right for that barn right now. Let's go to Maggie.
And as much as I get to talk to him, I think we're going to have to offer him a co-host position here. Christophe, congratulations with Bengala, a filly that obviously came from France with some promise, and she's just been knocking on the door. What changed today?
Well, she has been a bit unlucky. She went well, you know, she finished second twice, no pace and a little bit rank. Today I told Irad, you know, just basically keep her comfortable. If there's no pace, go in front. If not, just to be comfortable. And there was no pace whatsoever. He ended up, I think, after half in 50. And I knew she was going to be pretty tough to catch because she always finished her races. And she's good enough also, you know.
Today she also wore a hood. Your decision to put that on?
She does not want to listen to her trainer, so I guess we have to do something about it. She's quieter with it, and she trained well with it, and she's pretty anxious. And it's not my idea. John Knox in Ireland, who trained her, told Mr. Evans, the owner, that she trained better with it. And I guess he was right.
Well done you. I think I'm going to have to get some sunglasses because you're on fire the latter half of this Belmont meet.
It's always nice to win, so we're lucky.
Well, hoping it continues up to Saratoga. Congratulations again, Christophe.
Thank you so much.
Great.
Greg, what do you think about that? Should Christoph join you guys up on set?
I think we can make some room up here.
Sure. We might need to get some sunglasses too, or maybe a fire extinguisher or something.
Paul Duca, stay home. Christophe Clement stepping in for the rest of the meet. And then Paul could just come in at Saratoga. He's been doing fantastic. And we've been calling his name a lot over the past couple of weeks. Christophe Clement, well done. So there's the Naira Bets Late Pick 5 follow along, close to 57,000 in that pool. And the caretaker's been the biggest number. Bengala beats a favorite again here in the sequence. We got one leg to go. And I'm taking a look at the payouts right now. Ooh, interesting. Some future stars going to be talking about in action in the Rockville Center. Coming up on Saturday, La Fuerza, impressive first time out for trainer Todd Pletcher, the son of Flatter. Will look to start his career perfect 2 for 2 this weekend. We'll talk about that next.
This proven son of Giants Causeway has sired 4 millionaires, including Claiborne Farm stallion Lee. Recent top runners include 4-time graded stakes winner Miss Sky Warrior, 3-time graded stakes winner Sharp Samurai, multiple stakes winner Bal Harbor, and Dubai Group 3 winner Shamal Nibras. Last year, his 2-year-old sold up to $540,000, while his yearlings fetched up to a whopping $575,000. First Samurai, standing at Claiborne Farm.
La Fuerza at the 8th pole, pulling away from Hushin and the others. And then it's... La Fuerza at the 8th pole, pulling away from Hushin and the others. And then it's Bozzini on the outside in 3rd, and Bronx Bomber. The force is strong with this one. La Fuerza under the wire, a 6-length score.
Well, the word was out on this horse first time out. Went off at 1-2, and he romps for trainer Todd Pletcher. The son of Flatter wins by 7 3/4 lengths in that first out effort. Now we're going to see him again on Saturday in the Rockville Center.
It was impressive. It was a blowout victory, that's for sure. But the number and the time that it ran was kind of equivalent to the rest of the field that he faces come Saturday. So a handy little field that he faces, but it's always fun to see these 2-year-olds this time of year. You never know where the road will leave for some of them.
We know with 2-year-olds, you always talk Todd Pletcher and you talk Wesley Ward as well. But here's La Fuerza and the start. Not the best of beginnings, but was able to overcome it and win going away.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that he did not break that forwardly and that well, which is very atypical for a Todd Pletcher first-time starter, especially a live Todd Pletcher first-time starter. The fact that he got over that, had to make a wide move as we pick it up at the quarter pole, and showed this much professionalism in his debut, you would think that his second start could be even better.
See what happens here second time out. Yeah, was not tested at all in this first out effort. But again, as you keep going along here, tougher to overcome issues like that. And no guarantee second time out, you can have a clean break. Sometimes those issues stick around.
No, for sure. Sometimes it's inexperience and sometimes it's habitual.
Well, meanwhile, Wesley Ward going to be sending out What the Luck, who went off at a little bit better than 5-1 first time out, would wind up winning by 3 lengths at Aqueduct. This was back in mid-April.
And this horse showed a lot of gate speed. He was very fast. Dylan Davis was really under a pretty strong urging coming out of the gate to maintain that lead. But obviously, quickness is definitely useful in these 4.5 furlong races in which he debuted. The question is, can they kind of continue that success as the distances get longer at 3/4?
Horse he was well clear of, would come back to win next time out. So that is coming up on Saturday, Rockville Center, race 3 on the card on Saturday at Belmont. Right around the corner. It's what everybody's been waiting for. Saratoga opening weekend, opening days Friday, July 20th, the Grade 3 Lake George. And the Schuylerville on Saturday, first Grade 1 of the meet with the Diana. We talked about this race a little bit yesterday. Chad Brown, 7 of the 15 horses he has nominated to their race. It's
pretty incredible, right? Maybe that's just a taste of what's to come for the meet. But I love opening weekend, especially because we get to see some pretty flashy 2-year-olds in the Schuylerville and the Sanford as well.
And then Monomoy Girl in the Coaching Club, American Oaks. Opening day, always a sight to behold. We're going to be there each and every day of the meet, including opening day coverage on Friday, July 20th. You do not want to miss it. Tickets already on sale. Get involved, individual and group tickets on sale. Go to nyra.com/Saratoga to get your seats for the spa this summer. We're going to take a break. We'll be back. More coming up. Our nightcap. What will happen in race 9 on the card? It's 7 furlongs on the turf, $40,000 maiden claiming event, and a big class dropper fly off, the horse to beat.
His record-breaking accomplishments on the racetrack paved his way here to the Stall of Legends. Now retired to stud, we welcome the dawning of a new era as this esteemed champion hopes to stake his claim to immortality. His blazing speed and striking good looks have been passed down to his remarkable first foals. Foals that will carry the flag of their famous father and one day hope to break records of their own. Medication-free and undefeated in sprint competition. Run happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Make NYRA your home for online horse racing and betting. Start earning your sign-up bonus right now. With NYRA, you can use our state-of-the-art website to bet on live horse racing at over 200 tracks around the world. Bet anywhere, anytime, using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Build your bankroll with our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now at NYRABets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus now. Get a $200 new member sign-up bonus on NYRABets.com.
You're watching Belmont Park Live on MSG Plus. Greg Wolf, Gabby Gaudet, Maggie Wolfendale, who we're going to get to here in a moment. Here's a look at the field for the nightcap $40,000 maiden climbing event. 7 furlongs on the turf. It's fly off. Gabby, the big favorite right now, dropping down in class, but a long layoff.
Can you really trust this horse? The last time we saw him was the 21st of May of last year. And not to mention, this was actually his performance 2 starts ago, back in April of last year. And if he runs back to this race, he's definitely going to be well clear of this field. But George Weaver, A, brings this horse off of the layoff for a $40,000 tag, and B, Weaver's stats off of layoffs, especially in turf sprints, are very lacking. So I think he's got the look of maybe being a bit vulnerable here.
With more on this field, time for a paddock report. Let's go downstairs to Maggie Wolfendale. It's brought to you by Hillendale Farm, now standing Curlin for $150,000.
And Gabby, I would have to actually concur with you in regards to this George Weaver runner in number 8 Fly Off. He does return as a new gelding, but it hasn't changed him whatsoever physically. He's still that big, robust, heavier type of individual, and so therefore needing a race might be a probability in here, if not a certainty, as he also comes back wearing front bandages as well, and something you don't often see in horses running on the turf. So while I think there's some talent there, sure, and even whatever issues he's dealing with, he might be able to overcome. I'm not totally sure if he's going to be able to overcome them here with that layoff to contend with as well as far as fitness. Now, there are 2 first-time starters in here, and Christophe Clement will continue to look for to hold his hot hand here and proximate to power, actually. Little side note on this horse. This horse prepped by Donna Freyer down in South Carolina, and actually my husband Tom Morley and I down there to see other horses, and I remember seeing this horse, and Tom reminding me as well, in the paddock and absolutely loving him for the Elkstone group. And once again, he doesn't disappoint here. I know he's only running in a maiden 40, but he looks very good against horses who have even run. He's big, he's good looking, and he comes in here fit, and furthermore, the 7 furlongs on the turf just looks ideal. He is bigger, but he's also built downhill, kind of into the ground, indicative of a sprinting type. So that kind of 7 furlong distance just really should hit him between the eyes. As we'll also take a look at a number 7 in here, Scott's Gold for Dave Canizzo. This one, while also looks well suited to the conditions here. 7 furlongs on the turf, definitely with that European pedigree on top. Has a turf hoof, smaller but even build, kind of the opposite, but some frame of number 2. But that also works well with this kind of distance. Just feeling as though he'll need a start. He just looks a little soft around the edges. Is wearing blinkers for his debut. Not necessarily striking me as one that is really primed and ready to fire first time out here. And the board actually would say that a little bit, though he's taking some nibbles, I would say, as a debuter here, Greg.
All right, Maggie, thank you. So, yeah, note those blinkers on the first-time starter, Scott's Gold, 9-1 on the board right now. As we look at the Belmont Showdown online contest, you can play each and every day at NYRA.com/showdown. Still this finale to come. We got a 3-way tie at the top. But again, anybody, we get an upset in here, still alive.
Yeah, this is always a very fun contest to partake in. You don't have to pay anything. It's a win-win. So looking forward to see how it all ends here today.
$200 sign-up bonus. Use the promo code LIVE to take advantage of that. Go to NYRABets.com. Get signed up, started. You can play this finale we have coming up. We have those great races ahead this weekend as well, including the Forbidden Apple. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Go to NYRABets.com. We're going to have our post-parade here for this nightcap when we come back. 9 minutes away here from this finale on the card. We'll talk through the field when we come back. There's another first-time starter. Proximate to power for Christophe Clement, looking for a 3rd today.
Switches back to the outside. Exaggerator down to the 16th pole, but Exaggerator has turned the tables. He has won the Breedless. He has won the Travers over American Flag. Irish War Cry has first race, and he's going to do it in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile.
And they're off in New York, the premier state-bred program in the United States. When you own a New York bred, your horse can run for more than $44 million in purses, restricted to registered New York breds. And the New York program pays awards to breeders, owners, and stallion owners when their New York breds finish first, second, or third at New York tracks. We have the quality.
Audible, no doubt about it.
You have the opportunity. New York breds, get with the program. The best program.
You're watching Belmont Park Live on MSG Plus. It's brought to you by Claiborne Farm. And we have our nightcap coming up. We're approaching the 6-minute mark to post here in this finale on the card again. 7 furlongs on the turf, 40 maiden claiming events, where we have 8-5 favoritism on Fly Off, the 8 horse who we've already seen go by. Post parade here coming up in a moment. But Gabby gave us some reasons to play against the chalk here in this nightcap. There's Sam the Bugler with our call to post, and we're going to see a first-timer for a barn that's already won twice today. In a moment here, we're going to start with, though, the remaining half of the entry. Huracan for Norm Follett, or Concel in the Irons horse, who's 0 for 23 lifetime and 0 for 13 on the turf.
And has been facing maiden $20,000 types recently, so stepping up to that $40,000 level today.
9-1. Here's the Clement runner, son of Tail of the Cat, proximate to power.
And Christophe Clement appears to not be able to do anything wrong and taking some money right now at 5-2 for this first-timer.
Blinkers going on, freeload. Jose Lezcano rides for David Canizo.
One who has been exposed at this level before, but actually not on the main track, so coming back or staying on the turf here today, but that equipment change should help.
Frosty Martini, 9 starts, has never hit the board.
And has tried turf before. Looks a little bit overmatched.
5 and 6 are out. Here's a first-time starter. Maggie mentioned the blinkers on with Scott's Gold, another David Canizo runner. This one, son of Midas Touch.
And out of that, Scat Daddy mare, Scat's Lassie. Interesting turf pedigree, but as Maggie mentioned, maybe a little on the immature side, as we can see from the post parade.
Yeah, horse to beat here, the 8 Fly Off. Big drop in class, but a year's layoff. Recently gelded and drops in class.
If he runs back to his races from last year, he'll win this, but that is the question.
Mysterio, the 9, trained by Bruce Brown. That's that second start of his career, that first time on turf. That was kind of intriguing, but then he regressed in his next turf start.
Yeah, it didn't show much last time out against similar company, but does take a cutback today.
Just in spite of it, showed speed on the turf against a higher level last start on the positive side.
And is only making his 3rd career start. Has a little bit of turf pedigree there, too. He does look like the speed of the speed, but class is definitely a question, too.
37-1 there on the outside. Let's talk about one of the first-time starters here in this group. And again, out of the barn of Christophe Clement, Joel Rosario will be aboard. The son of Tail of the Cat, proximate to power. Lasix for the first out effort in here and taking plenty of support of the board.
Yeah, and he debuts as a gelding here, and he's in for that $40,000 tag. So clearly some question marks, but he looks great on track. He's showing all those signs of a horse that could be ready to fire at first asking. And not only is he by Tail of the Cat, but on the bottom side of the pedigree, you get that Indian Charlie influence. The mare, she was a graded stakes quality turf sprinter. So this just seems like a really logical spot for this horse to debut.
Of those who've run, if the favorite doesn't run back to what we've seen from him, this is probably the most logical of those who have already run before Freeload. Equipment change. Blinkers go on today for Freeload with Jose Lezcano.
He is 0 for 4 on the turf, and he's definitely been racking up those defeats. But you could maybe argue that he's faced slightly better. Maybe not so much last time out, but he is a horse that seems to lack a little bit of focus coming down the stretch. He sees other horses, doesn't want to pass them, so the blinkers on could hopefully make him not only have a bit more speed, but also will to win.
He beat Geo Lucky by more than 6 lengths. We saw Geo Lucky come back and win a few weeks ago.
Yep.
So, some positives in his corner. He's at 5-2 on the board and 8-5 though on Flyoff. So we haven't seen him since May 21st of last year for trainer George Weaver. You've mentioned this is not the strong suit of this barn. First off the bench in these maiden claiming races.
Yeah, so just to, throw out numbers a little bit, with 180-plus day layoffs and turf sprints, George Weaver is only 3 for 39, so 8% and an 89-cent ROI. So we see this time and time again, whether it's with maidens or with horses with winners, with even stakes quality types of horses. They come back and they're just a little bit short and they improve dramatically second off of the layoff. We see it so often that I can't have confidence, especially considering the fact that he's 3-2. That just seems a little much.
Very short price on Flyoff here off the long layoff. For more, let's go to Maggie Wolfendale.
And that is a pretty short price on Flyoff, that is for sure. As we'll check in with a horse who is trying the 7 furlongs on the turf for the first time, and that is the number 3, Freeload. And I think it's actually a perfect kind of distance for him, as he does get those just kind of shortcut blinkers on overall, and just a horse that sometimes doesn't get out of the gate very well. He just, as Gabby said, he lacks a bit of focus, and I'm hoping with those blinkers on, it does focus him in during the race. I haven't noticed a change with him as far as warming up or in the paddock at all. He's still the same Freeload. But like I said, I think the 7 furlongs is kind of an ideal distance for this runner as well. Now, speaking of blinkers, don't often see Christophe Clement starting his horses in blinkers proximate to power, and he is wearing a 3/4 cup, and I like this horse, I really do, but that concerns me slightly, just because it's not something that Christophe tends to do. I mean, this horse was, the only time he was a little bit green was when they went to throw the rider up, and other than that, he has been ultra focused with Joel Rosario aboard. I like this horse a lot, and I think he might be the main threat to Flyoff here, guys.
Interesting. We'll see. It seems like a prime race for a first-timer to step up.
Yeah, doesn't it? Because Freeload definitely has had his chances. We have mentioned plenty of reasons to not particularly like the favorite in here. So could go to a favorite, and not to mention Christophe Clement. I just saw this tweet by David Grenig, who we had on yesterday, DRF correspondent. Christophe Clement is 11 for the last 22 races, I believe 25 starters. So to say the barn is hot, well, maybe that's an understatement.
Having said that, if Flyoff, with the race we showed you, 2 back from Flyoff, granted it was April of last year, if he can produce 70% of that, is that good enough to win here?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, he was running in the mid-80 buyer speed figures, and horses haven't even passed 69 or 68 in this particular race. So we'll see, but that's what makes this race tricky, and I think it gives bettors an opportunity to maybe take a little bit of a shot against the favorite.
6-5 on Flyoff. Jose Ortiz will be aboard as they load up, and that Clement first-timer continuing to take action. He is the second choice on the board, the 2-horse at 2-1 with Joel Rosario in the irons. It is the finale here on this Thursday afternoon. Good luck to you if you are still alive in any multi-race wagers, including the Naira Bets late pick 5. Let's send it upstairs for the call to the voice of New York racing, Larry Colmus.
1 left to load here, and it's Just In Spite of It who will be the last one in. They're all in line. They're off. And it is Freeload who's sent out of there with some early speed. Right up and on the pace 2 is Frosty Martini, and then Flyoff to the outside. They're being followed by Proximate to Power, who's down toward the inside, just ahead of Mysterio up the backstretch. Just in spite of it is next. Then Scott's Gold and Huracan is the trailer. Up the backstretch they go, with Freeload and Frosty Martini going 22.38 for the quarter, a half length apart. 2 lengths back to Fly Off racing on the outside of Proximate to Power. Mysterio follows in 5th, 5 lengths to make up. Then just in spite of it, Huracan and Scott's Gold at the back of the pack. All in pursuit of Freeload around the far turn. And now here comes Fly Off on the outside, and the two of them kick on. Opening up, Proximate to Power is next. Just in spite of it is after that. As Frosty Martini retreats on the inside, and Fly Off takes the lead from Freeload at the top of the stretch, 45.27 for the half, and it is Fly Off and Jose Ortiz opening up. Now to a 5-length lead. Proximate to Power takes second. Just in spite of it is next on the outside, and Freeload is 4th as Fly Off flies off from his competition and is geared down to the easiest kind of win. Proximate to Power was second, and then came Just in Spite of It, and Huracan got 4th in 120.45.
Fly Off with the win. The drop in class, gelding off the year layoff for George Weaver, and sometimes you just make races a little too difficult, trying to find things where they are not.
Yeah, all those reasons that I just told you before the race to not bet Fly Off, yeah, just disregard that.
3 to 5 in the end.
Yeah, 3 to 5 in the end. And this horse, I mean, Jose Ortiz just barely moved on him. He was sitting chilly on his back. I think he maybe showed him the whip a little bit at the quarter pole, but he didn't even need to do that. This was a big win for this horse.
Now the question, going to stay in the George Weaver barn.
Yeah, does he get claimed? I don't know.
We'll find out shortly. 3 to 5 on Fly Off. Breaks his maiden career start, number 4. 8-2, 11, 63 to 1 shot. Winds up 3rd in here. That's the way to create value with the trifecta, just in spite of it. 8-11, 1A. We'll be back. Quick break, and we'll return for our final segment right after this. Fly Off the long layoff. The drop in class wins for George Weaver. We'll be back.
This successful son of AP Indy has sired 6 millionaires, including 2017 Eclipse champion 3-year-old West Coast. A dominant winner of the Grade 1 Travers and Pennsylvania Derby, West Coast also placed in the Breeders' Cup Classic and was runner-up in the $16 million Pegasus World Cup. In the sales ring, juveniles by Flatter brought up to $600,000, and his yearlings sold up to $460,000. Flatter, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Make NIRA Bets your home for online horse racing and betting. Start earning your sign-up bonus right now. With NIRA Bets, you can use our state-of-the-art website to bet on live horse racing at over 200 tracks around the world. Bet anywhere, anytime, using your computer or mobile device. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Build your bankroll with our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now at NIRABets.com and start earning your sign-up bonus now. NIRA Bets, racing's best play.
Back on Belmont Park Live, Fly Off, the big favorite at 3 to 5. Wins for trainer George Weaver with Jose Ortiz.
Returns $3.40. Congratulations to R.A. Hill Stable and Pike Place Racing.
8-11. NIRA Bets late pick 5 comes back $780 with a 3 to 5 favorite in the final leg. Let's go downstairs to Maggie Wolfendale.
Greg, thank you. And pleased to be joined here by winning conditioner George Weaver. And George, down at Belmont from Saratoga. But we're going to be coming to your home soon.
Thank goodness. I can't wait. Tired of driving.
I bet you are. And fly off the most easiest of winners, coming off that extended layoff here, George. And, I mean, how do you got this horse ready off the layoff and just found the right kind of spot?
Well, obviously, he had 3 starts last year, and it's been a long time since he ran, and he's had some issues we've had to deal with, and we gave him some time, and it just felt like we needed to bring him back in a spot where he could get us some confidence and hopefully move forward with.
Nobody took him today. Do you go and look at a starter allowance?
I guess that depends on how he looks tomorrow. We'll see, but if he looks good, yeah, we'll try to start our allowance with him.
George, looking forward to Saratoga. I know you always key your horses up for that. Are you looking to have a big meet this year?
We have some shots. I'm happy with the hand I'm holding, and hopefully it comes together. You have to get lucky up there, but we're looking forward to it. It's great racing, and we always enjoy it.
George, starting the month off in a good way. Congratulations here, though.
Thanks, Maggie.
All right, Greg.
And playing that claiming game and getting away with one here, dropping in, fly off, no one takes for 40,000. So he'll have this horse for a little longer.
All right, good move by George Weaver. Congratulations to the connections. Happy connections in the winner's circle. And George has actually had a pretty good meet here at Belmont, 22%. And usually he even improves once we go up to Saratoga. So maybe that's a sign of things to come.
Discretionary Mark was the favorite. Vincento, I believe, 3rd choice, maybe 2nd choice. Bengala went off second choice, and then a 3 to 5 favorite. That pays $780. Not bad.
Not bad. Pretty formful.
Belmont Showdown online contest. 2-way tie at the top. J.G. Zito and Lipton. Anyone else you want to give a shout out to?
Merlin, the magician, coming in 3rd.
Well done by everyone there. You could get involved with that by going to NYRA.com/showdown and play along without risking any of your own money. And again, you're competing for real prizes that go into your account. Hope you enjoyed today's action. We, of course, are back tomorrow. It's Friday tomorrow, so that means twilight start time. We're back on at 5 Eastern time. And we're going to have, among other action, the Saginaw Twisted Tom. Very interested to see him come back for trainer Chad Brown. 7 for 10 lifetime. He's won the last 3 starts of his career, but we haven't seen him since October.
Yeah, I love this horse, though. He really started to get good in the second half of the season. It looked like he would set himself up for maybe a good 4-year-old campaign, so happy to see him back. But pat on the back. The rail horse actually isn't too bad and is fast. So it'll be a very interesting matchup between these 2 horses.
Yeah, he chased Diversify home last time out. And the commentator, of course, Diversify came back and was absolutely sensational in the Suburban. So that looks awfully good in the form.
I would say it flatters him.
Yeah. So it appears to be those 2 tomorrow in the Saginaw. We're going to have that for you on the show. That is race 8 tomorrow at 6:50 Eastern time. Join us, though, at 5 Eastern. That's when we begin tomorrow on Twilight Racing, Friday, July 13th. We will see you then. It was Bengala for trainer Christophe Clement. Multiple win day for him, and Irad Ortiz Jr. aboard for the victory. He had a 3-win afternoon as Bengala gets her first win here in the States. We will see you on Friday.